Many students feel that science means science and technology, both section A and B, are quite difficult one because they don't understand the concepts, basic concepts given in both sections. But if your study method is good, then I am very much sure that you will score well, you will understand everything, as science is a subject which is the base for your career. Because if you think to choose science faculty in future in your career, then this subject knowledge, basic understanding of concepts is very important. And this information will be given to you by Mrs. Mamta Sauji. She is a well-known teacher from Pune. She will tell you everything about how to solve or how to tackle hot questions, how to draw diagram, how to study your textbook, how to answer different types of questions. She will give you knowledge of everything. And I am very sure that you will enjoy this.
Hello dear friends. Let me first congratulate all of you because you all are appearing for March 2014 SSC exam. Especially when so many students in Maharashtra are striving for better education. You all guys are learning this very much interesting science and technology in English, and that is why you deserve my congratulations. In today's session, we shall be discussing about the paper pattern mainly. Thereafter, the weightage for different chapters. Then 2 chapters have been added in the book for 2014 exam. We shall have a look for the content of all this chapter. And at last, the style of learning or the method of studies, etc. Now, at the onset, let us move for the paper pattern. As your book has been divided into 2 sections, that is section A and section B, the complete question paper of science is also divided into 2 sections, that is section A and section B. Each section is carrying 40 marks under compulsory category, and with option, the total question paper will be for 100 marks, means 20 marks are kept for option. Now this 80 marks question paper solving, you will be getting a time of 3 hours, and you have to write both the sections in the same answer book. That should not be forgotten. Now regarding the paper pattern. Now both section A and section are same, means the question types are same there. Each is having question number 1 to 4. Now let us see what is exactly the question number 1. The question number 1 from any section, either it is section A or section B, will be having again 2 sub-question type, that is A and B. The question number 1A will be for all objective type questions. The objective types, you are well aware with that. That is fill in the blanks, match the pair, true, false, complete the analogy, define the following, write the units, etc. etc. All this will come under question number 1A. Total 5 statements will be there, and each will be carrying 1 mark. So 1 into 5, 5 marks for all the section A, question 1A. Now regarding question 1B, this is newly added one which is dedicated for multiple choice questions, shortly called as MCQs. There will be again 5 statements with some gaps there. 4 alternatives or options for each statement will be there. You have to choose the correct alternative and you have to rewrite the statement again. 5 statements will be there carrying 1 mark, so 5 into 1, 5 marks. In this way, the total question number 1 is for 10 marks. Please remember that this newly added section of multiple choice question is totally dependent on your practical work, and that is why you have to concentrate on your science journal book. Just I shall give an example. Dash converges the rays of light, and 4 options will be there like the concave mirror, convex mirror, concave lens and plane mirror. Now here the correct option is the concave mirror, so choose that one and write the statement. You will get 1 out of 1. In this way you have to finish this question number 1. In question number 2, the weightage for this question is for 10 marks. Total 6 questions will be there. Among these 6 you have to solve just 5 questions. Each question will carry 2 marks. So 2 into 5, that is 10 marks for question number 2. Now under this section there are 19 sub-question types like give reason, distinguish between, write short note, draw the diagram or find out the error in the diagram, solve the numericals, etc. etc. So 5 questions will give you 10 marks. The question number 3 is like question number 2, but it is with some lengthy answers, like explain in detail, write the rule and draw the diagram also. Short notes will be there. Again, 6 questions are there, each carrying 3 marks. You have to solve just 5, so 3 into 5, that is 15 marks for question number 3. And the last question is question number 4. Now, this question number 4 is very much important because this single question will give you 5 marks altogether. This question number 5 will be dependent on the paragraph like comprehension in English, or 2-3 different questions will get accumulated in the same question, and lengthy question with a diagram and write down the function of each part, etc. will come in this question number 4. Question number 4 only will give you 5 marks. So 10, thereafter 15 and 5, total 40 under compulsory, and with option the total section A will be for 50 marks. The section and section B are both same. Only questions will get changed because the content or the syllabus which is under section A and section B is different. Now this was all about the paper pattern which you have to appear for the exam March 2014. After that we shall move for the complete weightage of each chapter. Now you all are well aware that previously there were 30 chapters and recently 2 more chapters are added from environmental study. So total 15 chapters are there, and that is why the weightage of each chapter has been revised. Now the weightage is ready with me. I shall recall that. You just make a note of that. The school of element, that is the first chapter, is having a weightage of 4/5. Remember, I am saying 4/5 means minimum 4 marks question will be there, and the examiner is not allowed to ask any other question more than the limit of 5 marks. The second chapter 4/6. The acid base chemistry third chapter is 4/5. The electric spark 5/8. All about electromagnetism 6/7. Wonders of light part 1 7/8. Wonders of light part 2 6/7. Understanding metals and non-metal, that is the first chapter from section A, will be carrying 7 to 8 marks. Then the amazing world of carbon compound will come for 6 to 7. The life's internal secret, that is chapter number 10, means first chapter biology section is for 6 to 7. Regulators of life 6 to 7. Life cycle 6 to 7. And mapping our genes is quite important because it is carrying a weightage of 6/8. The 2 new chapters, that is chapter numbers 14 and 15, are there, and each one is carrying 4/5 mark. So whenever you are totaling this mark, then under compulsory the total will be for 40, and with option it will be 50 for each section. Now regarding the newly added chapters and having a look into your textbook. The new book for science is called as the Science and Technology book. Earlier it was only science, but it is now Science and Technology, and recently 2 chapters are added in the book. Total 15 chapters are there. Now the subjects which are included in this book are physics, chemistry, biology and environment. The first 3 chapters, 1, 2, 3, and 2 chapters from section B, that is 8 and 9, they are all for chemistry. So for chemistry you have to study 5 chapters. The chapter number 4, 5, 6, 7, starting from electric spark up to wonders of light part 2 are dedicated for physics. They are physics chapter. And chapter numbers 10, 11, 12, they are biology chapter. Chapter number 13 is evolution, again it is included in biology. And chapter number 14 and 15 are kept for environmental studies. Earlier, up to 9th standard, 9th and 10th standard I say, there was a special book of EVS. Now this book has been cancelled. Earlier the students have to appear for the grade exam. Now that exam has been also cancelled, and the 2 chapters are now included in a regular syllabus. The chapter number 14 and 15 both have the same type of heading, that is striving for better environment part 1 and part 2. Now let us have a look for the chapter number 14 content. In chapter number 14, we have to specially see what is exactly a pollution. Pollution will be caused by pollutants. We have to see what are pollutants exactly. Then the types of pollutants or pollutions are there, like air pollution, wind pollution, soil pollution, etc. We all are aware that the pollutants or pollution is always causing an adverse effect on environment. So these small effects of pollution on humankind or plants or animal or soil, we have to study in chapter number 14. In chapter number 15, the emphasis is given on eco-friendly technology, eco-friendly devices and eco-friendly lifestyle. There are so many devices which are using the alternative sources of energy to reduce down the use of the conventional sources of energy. So all these devices like pressure cooker and biogas, they have included in this chapter number 15. There are different boards which are having a very keen watch on the activities of pollutants. That is why there are certain rules made by them. They have certain objectives also like MPCB or SIP-CB, etc. The objective rules of different institutions are included in chapter number 15. Please remember, chapter number 14 and 15 both are very narrative and descriptive, but the language is very easy to understand. Whenever you are reading this chapter frequently again and again, then you will be knowing what is there exactly in the book. Diagrams are not there, numericals are not there, diagram just two are there like the construction of pressure cooker or biogas. Otherwise the chapters are very much simple and easy to understand. So there should not be any fear factor regarding the addition of these two chapters. Only thing is that the weightage has been revised because of this. Now this was all about the weightage for different chapters. After that, we have to see what exactly will be the style of learning or your study pattern. Now by this time, the classes have already been started. The schools have also conducted the summer vacation batch for 1 month. And that is why I assume that you guys have already started the studies from 1st of May. Total 15 chapters are there in science and technology, and at any cost, you have to finish the complete syllabus up to November end. Why I am saying that? You are always already knowing, because from December the preliminary exams will be starting. Now total 15 chapters are there and you have to prepare them thoroughly. That is why I shall suggest you very easy methods for learning. First, you divide each chapter into 2-3 sections, 2-3 parts. Just take an example. The chapter number 1, that is classification of element, is for 9 pages, divided into 2 halves, 4 pages first and 4 pages second. The first 4 pages have to be read on day 1 and the next 4 pages have to be read on day 2. Whenever you are learning, learn it very properly. Take a pencil in your hand and make a list of questions in the margin in the book itself to the left and right side. After completion of these 4 pages, just revise the questions which you have studied. Thereafter, go to the next further part, that is remaining 4 pages you have to do next day. In this way, within 2 days, you shall be finishing these 2 sections and the complete chapter. In this way, by studying, you can finish a chapter at a fortnight, at least a chapter fortnight, because along with science and technology, you have to study all the subjects. That is why I am saying, thereafter, at the end of fortnight, you try to solve the exercises which are given in the book. The exercise questions are very important. Try to remember and recall exercises should be there at the tip of your tongue, because 50% the questions are all derived from the exercises section. But doesn't mean that the chapter is not important. I shall suggest you that the textbook should be read like a Bible or Gita. You take a very keen interest in reading the storybook, and the textbook should be read in the same manner. Take keen interest. Try to find out the answer for different things. Apart from that, the activities which are there spread everywhere in the 15 chapters are very much important. Do you know, think over it, how it is happening, etc., etc. All these things have been asked, and the activity-based questions are included under hot section. That is why try to get answers for all the activities. Don't neglect them. The activities are very much important. In this way, by completing 1 chapter at a fortnight and 2 chapters in a month, you will be finishing all the entire syllabus up to November end. By this time of November, there will be unit tests conducted by your schools. Half-yearly exam will be there. Apart from that, you are going for your tuition classes. The exams will be conducted by your tuition classes also. Many people joined the external test series. The test series papers are also there. Try to solve as maximum as possible the question papers and finally write them in a proper manner. Because whenever you are writing something, then this writing practice will build up the confidence for different questions. Diagrams are there, so diagram in a proper manner should be drawn. There are certain rules for drawing the diagram that should be learned properly. Always see that you are not bugging the question, but you are getting the principle of science. Whenever you got something in your mind, then you can build up the answer in your own language. In this way, you have to complete the 15 chapters up to November end. And last but not the least is hot section. The hot section means the higher order thinking skill question. Many of you think that the last question, that is question number 4, which is for 5 marks, is the hot question. It doesn't mean that the lengthiest question is only the hot question. The hot question may be for 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, or even for 5 marks. Higher order thinking skill question, the ready-made answers are not there in the book. Certain ideas are there and you have to derive the answer from the content which is given in the book. Always remember, whatever is there in the book, that will be seen in your question paper. Nothing apart from the book is there. Just take an example of this hot section. For example, in chapter number 8, that is understanding metals and non-metals, the question is there, why the anodes have to be replaced time to time in electrolytic reduction of alumina. Now this is hot question. A little bit answer is given in the textbook. First explain what is reduction, why it is called as electrolytic, which gas has been evolved from the electrolyte. Of course it is oxygen. Getting deposited over the graphite means carbon. Because of the combination of carbon and oxygen, CO2 is evolved. Whenever CO2 is evolving from anything, then the CO2 makes that object porous. When this happens gradually, eventually, continuously, then the graphite anodes may get eroded and they may get weakened, and because of that they may get broken. And to avoid that, the anodes have been replaced from time to time. In this way, if you are keeping a keen look on the content of activities and trying to find out the answers of different things, you will be very much well aware with the hot section. The hot section list is not unique, means suppose there are so many publishers which are giving the hot questions in their sheets also. But try to get more and more hot questions from your friends and teachers, and this will build up the confidence for solving the hot section. In the 40 marks paper, at least 10 to 12 marks are kept for hots, and that is why the hot section is very much important. Now, while going through the entire textbook, there are so many things which are very much interesting and related to particular chapter. That thing should be kept in your mind very properly. For example, just take an example of periodic classification of elements, that is chapter number 1. The schematic diagram of periodic table should be there in your mind. It is not there in the textbook, but you can draw the diagram of that periodic table along with our 4 blocks, the bottom series of lanthanides and actinides. You must keep the metals and non-metals to the proper side. You should remember the zigzag line, etc. What are inert gases and which is that separate group of inert gases. Whenever you are all knowing these things, then definitely that chapter will be easy for you. Chapter number 2 is types of chemical reaction. So chemical reaction means chemical changes. Different chemical reactions like reduction, oxidation, combination, displacement, redox reactions are there along with neutralization. These reactions are very much helpful in our day-to-day life. They are also causing different effects in the environment. Chapter number 2 and 3, there are so many chemical equations. For chemical equations, you must remember the formulae of different chemical compound, and for remembering the formulae you must know the valency of different elements. The valency tables are available in the market, or you can take the help of your teacher, get the valency of different elements, and then you can build up the complete formula of the chemical compound. Chapter number 3 is acid-base chemistry. Then you must be knowing weak acids, weak bases, their mutual reaction called as neutralization, the effect of acid on different things, effect of bases on different things, etc., etc. Chapter number 4 is electric spark. Electric spark means electric circuits are there. So the joining of circuit in a proper manner, that is the joining of positive and negative terminal, is very much important. If you are joining it in very incorrect manner, then the circuit will not be working and whatever you are doing is all useless. That is why the proper connection, the circuit diagram, the Ohm's law, and the limitations of Ohm's law, the devices which are working on heating effect of electric current, everything is very important. The first chapter, that is chapter number 4, is having numerical. And whenever numericals are there, they are based on certain formulae. That is why all the formulae should be remembered very properly. I suggest you that you should make a separate sheet of different formulae and try to stick that sheet in front of your study table. Whenever you are again and again seeing at that sheet and watching it keenly, then all the formulae will be there in your mind. The chapter number 5 is electromagnetism. Whenever we are discussing about electromagnetism, then an idea of generators and motors will come in your mind. So AC motor and generator, apart from that, the different rules are there, like the right hand thumb rule, Fleming's left hand rule, Fleming's right hand rule. The rules are quite tricky. They are difficult to understand, but try to understand them, and whenever you are asked to write down the rule, then the associated schematic diagram should be there. Working of AC/DC motors and generators is very important. Try to find out the components, their construction, the devices where these motors and generators are used, etc. etc. All this was the chapter number 5, electromagnetism. Chapter number 6 and 7 are very much important because these chapters are continuing for your 11th standard also. They are all related to light. In chapter number 6, Wonders of Light part 1, we have to study about mirrors and lenses. But just one thing, that is concave mirror, and just one lens, that is convex lens, we have to study. Apart from that, our eye is also having a convex lens. That is why the structure of eye, the parts of eye, the functions of different parts of eye, defects of eye are also there. Now, very new thing which is introduced in this chapter number 6 is drawing the ray diagram. Whenever you know the Cartesian geometry system and the rules for drawing the diagram, then the drawing the ray diagram will be a very simple task for you. And then you can find out the images of different things obtained by the concave mirror on the convex lens. The chapter number 7 is again related to this light, but here light related different phenomena are there, like the scattering or dispersion, refraction, reflection, etc. All these things are causing different effects in the environment, like the astronauts always see the surrounding sky like black. At the time of sunrise or sunset, the sky always look red, or the formation of rainbow. So many things are dependent on this phenomena, and this chapter is very much interesting. Numericals are again there in chapter number 6 and 7, so study the formula. Also remember to write down the SI unit of your final answer. If you forget to write down the unit, then the half mark will get cut. That is why the SI units of different physical quantities and the formula are very important. Here we are ending this section A completely. Now section B, chapter number 8 is understanding metals and non-metal. Metals and non-metals have been already introduced in chapter number 1, but here you have to study the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Their reaction, again chemical reaction part is there. A very new thing is about the metallurgy, that is of aluminium, metal aluminium. Different processes of extraction of metal have to be studied very properly. And of course, whenever you are studying metal, metal has a course of rusting or corrosion. That is why there are different methods to avoid this corrosion also. All these methods are all together in the anti-corrosion treatments. You have to study all these things very well. Chemical reactions, you should write again and again. I think every week 5 chemical reactions should be ready with you, and in this way you can finish all the reactions. Now chapter number 8 is over. The chapter number 9 is chemistry of carbon compound. Amazing world of carbon compound. Carbon, a very unique element. More than 10,000 compounds are there only made up of carbon. That is why separate chapter is given for chemistry of carbon compound. A very special thing in this chapter is the IUPAC nomenclature. Carbon has a property of catenation, that is self-bonding. And that is why it is forming n number of compounds. Now in IUPAC nomenclature, a simple compound of carbon will be given, and you have to suggest the proper name, IUPAC name for that compound. There are certain steps given in your textbook for writing this IUPAC name. Study all this method in a proper fashion and follow all the steps, and using these 4-5 steps you have to write down the IUPAC nomenclature. Don't just write down the IUPAC name, but follow all the procedure methods which are included in the IUPAC nomenclature. One more thing I want to tell you, total 7 to 8 compounds are discussed in the textbook. Just try to revise them. Any other compound which is not mentioned in the textbook will not come for your question paper or 10th standard paper. That is why concentrate on all the 7 compounds which are mentioned in the textbook. This was all about this chapter number 9. Now chapter number 10, the biology section is starting. Chapter number 10, 11, 12, they are all related to different systems which are already there in your body, that is human body. The chapter number 10 has a quite high expanse, around 20 pages are there, and weightage is also high, 6 to 8. Different 5 systems are included in this chapter, like digestion, nutrition, circulation, excretion, etc. etc. Whenever we are learning something about the system which is present in the human body, then the system is made up of organs. That is why the organs which are involved in the system, their structure, their secretions like hormones or enzyme, their functions, etc. etc. all you have to study in the chapter number 10. Chapter number 11 is for nervous system, that is control and coordination, and chapter number 12 is life cycle, that is the reproduction system. Everything in the reproduction system, we have to see the reproduction of plants and animals too. Reproduction and nervous system, very prime important systems in the body of any organism. That is why two separate chapters are there for these two systems. Chapter number 13 is again quite interesting. We always say that that is humankind has been evolved from the apes. Then how this evolution has taken place, what were the steps at that time, what are the evidences for this evolution, what are DNAs, what are genes, what are chromosomes, where are they present, what are their functions, how the hereditary characters are transformed from one generation to another. This all interesting, they are included in chapter number 13. A very special thing is monohybrid and dihybrid cross. For all these two crosses, you have to draw the Punnett square. And with the help of this Punnett square, you can draw how the children or the offspring are evolved from the parents. This is very important, and you must draw these Punnett square again and again so that they will be ready in your mind. Now chapter number 14 and 15, they are newly introduced. They are ABS chapters. In chapter number 14, you know everything regarding the pollution, pollutants, type of pollution is there. Chapter number 15 is eco-friendly lifestyle. So devices which are eco-friendly, which are reducing the pollution, the different boards, their objective rules, etc., are all there in chapter number 15. 14 and 15 are very simple and easy to understand. Just you have to learn them again and again. In this way, if you follow the learning methods or studying methods, then by November end, you will be confident enough to solve the question paper. Don't rely on the exercises only. Try to get more and more question papers from your friends or any other sources, and always try to write down the answers because writing practice is very much important. The schools are always conducting 2 preliminary exams. Apart from that, many of you join the test series also. Try to solve as max as possible question papers. Let them get checked from your expert teachers. Try to improve gradually in your question papers, and then I am confident that you will be totally ready for the March 2014 exam. So I wish good luck for you and stop here. Goodbye.